So let's jump right into it here on the active address sentiment indicator chart. Now, I won't spend too long on this because we have been discussing it fairly frequently over the past few weeks, given the fact we recently crossed above this upper deviation band. Now, what this indicates is that the most recent uptrend that we had in the Bitcoin price action maybe wasn't sufficiently supported by an increase in network utilization. Typically with Bitcoin, what we want to see is not just price increasing, but more people looking at this price increase and thinking, yeah, I want to get involved. Yeah, I want to start buying Bitcoin and using on-chain, etc. And in this move, we didn't really see that. And when we crossed back beneath this upper red deviation band, as price was around $81,000 to $82,000, we've since had a little bit of a decline, which again was something we'd kind of anticipated, some pretty major resistance, 200-day, short-term holder realized price, etc. But I'm not going to get too much into that today. What we're going to be looking at is how we can try and gauge where max pain might be, because a lot of people get involved in crypto, all markets in general, and think it's easy mode. They see what the general consensus is, typically follow that, and usually what we see is a majority of participants are wrong a majority of the time, and that's just the unfortunate reality of the markets. What we can do is look at the active address sentiment indicator here on TradingView. If you have a BM Pro site subscription, you gain access to this indicator. And as we can see, we reached this upper red resistance zone in line with some key moving averages. I won't cover everything today and have retraced a little bit. We've recently bounced, but what we can do is almost work backwards to see when we cross beneath this lower green deviation band, which would almost give us a buy signal, especially when we cross back above it, indicating that the most recent price decline maybe isn't justified by the amount of network activity that we're seeing. So what we'll do is kind of gauge by the end of the month, and bearing in mind this is working on a 28-day basis, at what point we'd actually cross beneath this band. So as we film this today, it's the 21st of May. What I'll do is just look to the closing price of the 1st of May, which gives us a few days to kind of see how this might play out. And what we can see is if we just grab here, what we can do is if we put on the value label here, hopefully you can see that it's a little small. It's currently at about minus 5.35% to cross beneath this band. So price would need to go 5.35% to the downside to cross beneath this, and that would put us right about in this orange range at about $74,000. Now, this orange and green range are levels that I've identified as where I'd imagine there'd be fairly notable support for the Bitcoin price action. If I just quickly add in this volume range profile, what we can see is we have a pretty big level here. And again, this is going back to the video we released earlier in the week. This would align with a standard deviation above the electrical cost to mine a Bitcoin, as well as some other key levels. But I won't focus too much on this. If we just go back over here onto the site, what we're actually going to do is look at derivatives markets through a slightly different lens, because if we look at something like open interest and funding rates, which we'll cover in a minute, we can kind of get insights into the positions people are taking. But what we can actually do, and granted we don't provide this data on BM Pro, is look at liquidation levels. So what we can actually see is almost a heat map to see at what price a majority of traders would be liquidated. So if I just add on here, what we can see is when we get these slightly warmer colors on this chart, it's where a lot of positions are going to be liquidated. Now, when it moves to the upside, it means shorts being liquidated. And when it moves to the downside, it means longs are being liquidated. And what you can usually see is you get these big wicks, which really capitulate a lot of positions. They forcefully liquidate people. This is where a lot of liquidity is. So the market does typically seek out these big areas of liquidation. Now, what we can see is where is the current big cluster of liquidation levels to the downside. Well, 74,400, then beneath that, 74,300, 74,100, and 73,800. So all around this $74,000 level, which would align with the active address sentiment indicator, getting to this maybe oversold territory, this valuation accumulation territory, and potentially providing a buy signal. But we can take it one step further, because this is just looking at the perpetual futures market. If we look a bit further into the options market, this is Deribit. What we can see is at what price on a certain particular day, when these option contracts expire, at what point would call the maximum payment. It's literally called the max pain price. And this is $75,000 on May 29th. So towards the end of this month, most option contracts will expire worthless at $75,000. Now, as I said, the markets have a fairly good way of actually having this come to fruition. Market makers go there in the end, seeking out liquidity, trying to liquidate the most positions, forcefully close them to get cheap entry prices with a minimal slippage, potentially. What we can also look towards is the funding rates. Like I said earlier, this gives us an idea into the current positioning of a majority of traders. Now, on the short term, if we look at the coin-denominated 1-hour funding rates, this has actually turned positive recently after spending the majority of this downside ranging price action in very short territory, indicating a majority of perpetual futures traders were actually betting on further downside. We've actually recently had probably one of the biggest upside positive funding rate spikes we've had in, well, most of 2026, to be honest. And this occurred just as price has started moving up and then to the downside, people trying to buy the dip, which maybe gives me some indication that there might be some further downside as well. And as I film this, we're currently around 77 to 78,000. We've had a little bit of a rebound, but I'd maybe anticipate some slightly further downside price action as well. But one thing we do need to take into consideration is this is just on the hourly time frame, and this fluctuates quite frequently. A lot of these short positions which were opened recently may not have been closed. Maybe just over the past few hours, we're seeing more long positions opening. And one way we can really gauge this is if we look to a couple different factors. If we take the 7-day average of this coin-denominated Bitcoin funding rates, what we can see, now this is a snippet from the site subscriber industry reports that go out multiple times a week. This is looking at the weekly average coin-denominated funding rates, like I said. And they've actually recently turned negative for only the 11th time in the past 3 years. Now, again, what we can see is historically, these have been pretty good accumulation opportunities. Not always occurring at exact lows in the market, but usually giving us a good indication the market is getting overly bearish, overly pessimistic. We can see recently, just in this most recent downside move following $60,000, pretty much the exact lows on both occasions when these started peaking, well, troughing to the downside as more and more people were shorting the market. So we can see on a 7-day weekly average, people are increasingly shorting. And if we look to the Bitcoin open interest, we can see that it's not just a small number of participants betting on further downside. Open interest has been climbing for practically this entire ranging period of price action we've had from around $60,000 to $80,000. So not only are we seeing more and more people shorting the market, anticipating further downside, but this is really building to provide potentially some squeeze. Now, from what I said earlier of the max pain price being beneath us at around $75,000, aligning with that active address sentiment indicator and those big liquidation clusters, if we just go back to there a bit and look a couple months into the future to potentially the end of July, we actually see something different. The max pain price here is actually $80,000. That's obviously higher than the current price. So we've got a couple interesting things going on here. In the short term over the next coming days and weeks, we probably have more downside to go, at least if the market is going to punish the most participants it possibly can, which it typically does. But if we zoom out a little bit, we can see open interest is climbing, and the general trend of funding rates is negative. People are shorting and betting on further downside. And in just a couple of months' time, the max pain price, which this is actually a pretty rare occurrence, to see more people in pain by price increasing. Now, as a kind of not as scientific approach to this, I've also kind of noticed a lot more bearish and pessimistic content on social media, a lot more bearish and pessimistic reactions in the comment section of the videos. Now, if you're included in this, so be it. I don't mind the comments being bearish, and a lot of them are quite fun, but all the comments recently, incredibly bearish. This isn't a contrarian view to bet on further downside when everyone is betting on further downside. And what we can see by all of this data is it is just the mass psychology quantified. People are bearish. People think prices are going to go lower in the more macro basis. People are fearful, extremely fearful, actually, according to a few days ago. I could be wrong, of course. We need to look at the market in a probabilistic view. We need to say that X Y, and Z could happen. I'm prepared if Bitcoin drops to $50,000 and my thesis is proved wrong. I'm prepared if Bitcoin rallies up to 100K and I can't accumulate any more cheap Bitcoin. I have a plan for each scenario. But all I'm saying is when a majority of investors, a majority of market participants have one scenario in their mind for the long term, and that is that price is going down, I'm kind of edging towards doing the opposite of that. So just to summarize, I've just noticed actually, I've got a new office set up and it's kind of cropped that summary a little incorrectly. I'll fix that for the next video. But just to summarize, the market loves to punish as many participants as possible. And as you can often gain great insights into at what point most people will be punished, at least in the short term, we can look towards the derivatives markets. We can look towards the perpetual funding rates, the options expiry, the liquidations heat maps, the funding rate, the open interest. And of course, we also considered the active address sentiment indicator, which isn't necessarily the derivatives markets, but it does show us the on-chain activity and utilization in relation to the actual price action that we're experiencing. And what we can see is almost two contradicting points. The max pain price over the coming days and weeks is likely more downside. We've seen those funding rates recently pop up positive again for a pretty rare occurrence during this most recent ranging price action that has occurred throughout the majority of 2026. And especially after that rejection, it looks like a lot of people are trying to swoop in after just a slight retracement. I'd consider, especially looking at the videos we released recently, looking at the ETF's outflows and the general time-based capitulation that we maybe haven't quite experienced yet. I think a lot of people may be frustrated over the coming days and weeks. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope price rallies to the upside. But if we zoom out and look at a slightly longer time frame, people are getting more and more confident that we're guaranteed to go down. Now, I'm gonna have to eat my own words if I'm proven wrong and we set lower lows at $50,000. We bottom out in October and we follow this 4-year cycle basis almost perfectly, which everyone in the comments is telling me is almost destined to happen. That might happen. I'm prepared for that to happen. But the fact that we're seeing such confidence that that's a certainty, and people are really betting with their own Bitcoin that that is going to happen, makes me think that's less likely to happen. But do keep in mind, like I said, markets aren't right and wrong, black and white. It's almost certainly the wrong approach to say, I'm going to go 100% all in at this price. I'm going to sell 100% all in at this price, going to long here and short here. If you cover all your basis and think probabilistically, prepare for all the scenarios, then, at least in my mind, at least for what the data supports, that's probably the right thing to do. But I'm looking forward to everyone in the comment section once again telling me how wrong I am. It's all good fun. I do enjoy them. If you like this content, or even if you didn't like this content, which most of you seemingly haven't been recently, let me know in the comments below and on social media. I do look forward to reading and replying to a vast majority of them. As always, let me know what other content you'd like to see, and if you're not subscribed already and would like access to all of the cool stuff we do behind the scenes, industry reports, API access, TradingView indicators, typical sales pitch, then, typical sales pitch. But as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.